Hey everyone, I'm Emma, 28 years old and crushing it in the marketing world, but behind the scenes anxieties got me in a stranglehold. It all started when my dad remarried after mom passed. Mom was my everything, my rock. I'm still figuring out how to exist without her. And then enter Vivian, my 45-year-old stepmother from hell. Emma sweetie, don't you think that skirt's a bit short for the office? She says, her voice dripping with judgment. That's Vivian for you, always sneaking in backhanded comments like she's got a never-ending supply of them. I swear she's got more passive-aggressive lines than an entire season of Real Housewives. Oh, and don't even get me started on her kids Marcus and Tom. They're like the dynamic duo of douchebaggery. Hey sis, can I borrow your car? Promise I will crash it this time. Tom smirked as if I could ever forget his last joyride. Fat chance. Tom still recovering from whiplash. I snapped back, the tension between family drama and work stress starting to feel like quicksand. That's when I made the best decision of my life. I started therapy. Emma, have you ever thought about talking to someone? It might help. My boyfriend Jack suggested one night. Jack, he's my rock, and with my best friend Sophie, they're like my personal cheerleading squad. Girl, don't let the Wicked Witch of the West get to you, Sophie said over brunch. Ever the motivator, but lately Vivian's hit a new level of invasive. She's always lurking, asking me weirdly specific questions about my schedule. Oh Emma, another appointment on Thursday. What a shame, I thought we could spend some quality time together, she'd say, voice sugar-coated in fake sweetness. Sometimes I feel like I'm stuck in a live-action soap opera, and now with the annual family reunion around the corner, the dread is building. It's at my childhood home with feel comforting, but with Vivian running the show it feels more like stepping into the lion's den. I've planned so many fun activities for the reunion, Vivian announced at dinner, eyes gleaming. It'll be a weekend to remember. The way she looked at me sent a chill down my spine. Can't wait, I muttered, jabbing at my salad, trying to ignore the growing knot in my stomach. The reunion was looming and I couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible was about to happen. You okay, babe? Jack asked, sensing my distraction. Yeah, just family stuff, I sighed. If only I knew then what was coming in the weeks leading up to the reunion. Therapy became my lifeline. My sessions with Dr. Jim were helping me untangle my anxiety and family dynamics until Vivian became the main topic of conversation. How are things with Vivian? Dr. Jim asked one day, still walking on eggshells. I admitted she's been really interested in my schedule lately. It's starting to creep me out. I didn't realize how right I was to feel uneasy as the reunion approached. Vivian's behavior got even stranger. She was always nearby, always listening, with this smug look on her face like she knew something I didn't. The day of the reunion arrived and the house was chaos. Aunt Olivia's loud voice, Uncle Patrick's terrible jokes, cousins running wild. It was the usual family circus until I noticed Vivian huddling corners, whispering to various relatives. They glance at me, then quickly look away. When I caught them staring, is it just me or is everyone acting weird? I whispered to Jack, it's not just you, he murmured back, squeezing my hand. Something's definitely up. Dinner came and the air was thick with tension. Vivian stood up, tapping her glass with a spoon. Everyone, I have a special presentation tonight, she announced, her smile sickly sweet. My stomach lurched. Well, what was she up to? Vivian pulled out a laptop and connected it to the TV. I think it's time we all got to know the real Emma, she said, hitting play. Then I heard it, my voice, my private therapy sessions recorded without my knowledge. echoed through the room. My vulnerable moments, my confessions, my struggles lay bare for everyone to hear. I feel like I'm constantly walking on eggshells around Vivian. My voice echoed through the speakers. Sometimes I wonder if Dad even notices how she treats me. I felt the blood drain from my face. How did she get those recordings? How long had Vivian been spying on me? The room erupted into chaos. Aunt Olivia gasped, clutching her pearls dramatically, while Uncle Patrick shifted uncomfortably in his seat. My cousins whispered amongst themselves, eyes darting between me and Vivian. Emma, how could you say such things? Dad asked, his voice a mix of hurt and disbelief. I couldn't breathe. My chest tightened as if the walls were closing in. The room spun around me. What the hell? Vivian! Jack stood abruptly, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. This is a massive invasion of privacy. Vivian just smirked, her lips curling into a self-satisfied smile. I thought the family deserved to know the truth, she said, her voice thick with arrogance. I couldn't take it anymore. Without another word, I bolted from the room, out of the house, gasping for air. Jack and Sophie are right behind me. Emma, wait, Sophie called out, but I didn't stop until I reached the end of the driveway. My body trembled as the weight of it all hit me. Jack wrapped his arms around me as I collapsed into him, tears streaming down my face. How could she do this? I sobbed into his chest, my heart breaking. She's crossed the line, Sophia said, her voice filled with fury. This isn't just wrong, Emma. What she did is illegal. Voices echo from inside the house, arguments, accusations, confusion. My phone buzzed repeatedly with messages from family members, some offering sympathy, others placing blame. I couldn't face any of them. I can't go back in there, I whispered, barely able to speak. You don't have to, Jack said softly. Let's get out of here. As we drove away, I glanced back at the house, the place that had once been my safe haven. Now it felt tainted, like everything I thought I knew had crumbled beneath me. Betrayed by my own stepmother, humiliated in front of my family, I felt like my world was falling apart. But as Jack drove and Sophia held my hand from the back seat, I realized something important. This wasn't the end, it was the beginning, the start of me fighting back. The days after the reunion were a blur. I holed up in my apartment, ignoring calls and texts from everyone except Jack and Sophie. Work, forget it. I called in sick too, drained to even think about facing the outside world. Emma, you need to eat something, Jack said, gently placing a plate of toast on my bedside table. I'm not hungry, I mumbled, pulling the covers over my head. But Sophie wasn't having it. She burst into the room, all determination. Okay, enough with the moping, we're getting to the bottom of this. She was right, I couldn't hide forever. We started digging, and what we uncovered was beyond anything I could have imagined. Vivian hadn't just recorded one rap Y session, she'd been doing it for months. How did she even get access to my sessions? I wondered aloud, horrified at the violation. I think I know, Jack said, his face grim. Remember when your laptop was acting up and Vivian offered to fix it? It clicked. She must have installed some kind of spyware. When I told Dr. Jim, she was just as horrified. This is a serious breach of confidentiality, Dr. Jim said, her expression filled with empathy. I'm so sorry, I'll do everything I can to support you. A week later, my dad finally called. His voice was shaky, filled with uncertainty. Emma, I don't know what to say. How about I'm sorry for not believing you about Vivian? I snapped, my patience worn thin. There was a long pause before he responded. You're right, I should have listened. I think I need to take a hard look at my marriage. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Determined to get justice, we hired a private investigator to dig into Vivian's past. What we found was chilling. She had a history of manipulative behavior, and there were even some fraud charges in her past. We need to take her down, I said, surprised by the strength in my own voice. We found a lawyer, Sarah, who specialized in privacy and fraud cases. What Vivian did is illegal, she explained, reviewing our evidence. You have a strong case. As we built our case, I started to feel more like myself again. The pain and betrayal were still there, but now they fueled my determination to fight back. Then an unexpected twist came. Marcus, my younger stepbrother, reached out. Emma, can we talk? His voice was hesitant, almost nervous. We met at a small cafe away from prying eyes. Marcus slid a USB drive across the table. What's this? I asked, confused. It's something you need to see, he said, looking down. Vivian, she's been stealing from Dad's company. I found these emails and financial records by accident, and I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I was floored. This chong everything. Marcus, thank you. This could take her down for good. With this new information, our plan expanded. It wasn't just about my privacy anymore, it was about protecting my dad, the family business, everything we held dear. We need to be smart about this, Sophia cautioned one night as we gathered around the table. Evidence scattered before for us. Vivian's crafty, we can't tip her off, so we spent nights strategizing, building an airtight case. It felt good to have a purpose, to be fighting back rather than running. You know, Jack said as we pored over documents late into the evening, I'm really proud of you, Emma. You're turning this awful situation into something powerful. I smiled, feeling stronger than I had in weeks. Thanks, I couldn't do this without you guys. As we finalized our plan, I realized something important. This wasn't just about revenge, it was about justice, about standing up not only for myself but for everyone Vivian had hurt along the way. Ready for this? Sophia asked as the day of our confrontation drew near. I took a deep breath, my heart racing. Ready as I'll ever be. Let's do this. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of secret meetings and late nights. We gathered evidence as if our lives depended on it, because in a way they did. Financial records, emails, even recorded conversations, all pointing to Vivian's intricate web of lies and fraud. We've got her, I said, staring at the mountain of evidence we had collected. It was time to face her, to bring everything out into the open. We chose a family dinner for the confrontation, fitting considering how this all began. As we sat around the table, the tension was thick enough to slice through. So Vivian, I began, my heart pounding, my voice steady. Want to tell us about the money you've been siphoning from Dad's company? Her face went pale. I don't know what you're talking about, she sputtered. Oh, I think you do. I pulled out the folder of evidence. We have proof of your fraud, identity theft, and let's not forget the illegal recordings of my therapy sessions. Her eyes around the room, searching for an ally. But this time she found none. Is this true? My dad asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Vivian tried to spin it. Of course it's all a misunderstanding, Ella, just trying to turn you against me. But her manipulation tactics fell flat. One by one family members spoke up, sharing their own experiences of her deceit. I can't believe we didn't see it before, Aunt Olivia muttered, shaking her head, realizing she was cornered. Vivian lashed out, you'll regret this, Emma. I'll make sure of it. But her threats were empty. The very next day, an anonymous tip, thanks to Marcus, triggered an official investigation into Vivian's business dealings. Within a week she was arrested, not for what she had done to me, but for years of fraud that our investigation had uncovered. The family was in shock. Apologies poured in. Emma, we're so sorry, we didn't believe you, Uncle Patrick said, his usual jovial tone replaced by genuine remorse. As good as it felt to be vindicated, I wasn't ready to let everyone off the hook so easily. I Appreciate the apology, I replied, but I need some time and space. Setting boundaries wasn't easy, but it was necessary. For the first time in a long while I was prioritizing myself. Fast forward a year and life looks pretty different. I'm killing it at work, finally got that promotion I've been eyeing. Jack and I are stronger than ever, and we're even talking about moving in together. Sophie, she's still my ride or die now, with the added bolus of being my business partner in a side gig we started to new beginnings. Jack toasted at our celebration dinner, and to karma, Sophie added with a wink, yesterday the news came and Vivian's been convicted. She's looking at a long stretch behind bars. As I sit here reflecting on everything that's happened, I can't help but feel a mix of emotions. Relief, definitely, vindication for sure, but also a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. You've come a long way, Dr. Jim said in our last session, and she was right. This journey had been brutal, but it had taught me more than I ever imagined about standing up for myself, the strength of true friendships, and most importantly the power of setting and maintaining boundaries. I'm proud of you. You know, my dad said during our last phone call, we're working on rebuilding our relationship slowly but surely. Thanks, Dad, I replied, and I meant it. So here I am, starting a new chapter. Vivian's actions will always be part of my story, but they don't define me. What defines me is how I've grown, how I've fought back, and how I've come out stronger on the other side. To anyone out there dealing with toxic people, stand your ground. Your truth matters, your boundaries matter, and most importantly, you matter. As for me, I'm just getting started. Life's thrown me some curveballs, but now I'm more than ready to knock them out of the park.